Heel Heat. I've been told it's a fantastic podcast. Why haven't you had me on it, huh? Where's my invitation? I think you guys need to feel the wrath. I'm at Comic-Con today, but I think we need to get some, some wrath in the show. So let me know.
Hello. It is me, your Heel Phenom, SP3. And we are back. It's been a full year, but after a full year, we are bringing you the True Heel Heat top 10 lists are back on the channel. And just in case you didn't get enough full gear content from this past week, we're giving you one last one. The top 10 best AEW full gear matches of all time. This is our list. Let us know what you think about it. But I am back here with another list, ladies and gentlemen. Your boy SP3 back with you once again. And we're talking about one of AEW's premier events, AEW Full Gear. Starting in 2019 in Baltimore, Maryland, it has become one of the flagship events of AEW's calendar year. Every November, they come and give you these super cards that have left some of the greatest memories and greatest matches in the history of this company. And for you, we have brought back the top 10 list to go through it and talk all about AEW Full Gear, saying AEW Full Gear 2025. So this is for all of the AEW Full Gear events from 2019 through 2024. So let us know in the comments if you think we got the list right and if you would make any changes to our list. Let us know in the comments down below. This is our opinion on the top 10. This is not the opinion. Have yours in the comments down below and let us know what you think. And of course, like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe if you are new. And of course, we always love to engage. So like I said before, comment. That's the best thing that you can do for us for this top 10 video. Without further ado, our honorable mentions we have from the first ever AEW Full Gear back in 2019. Chris Jericho versus Cody Rhodes, the main event of the show, one of the biggest, most important main events in AEW history, the official main event. There was a match after the main event, which might be on our list, but Jericho and Cody is one of our honorable mentions. From AEW Full Gear 2020, the actual main event, Jon Moxley versus Eddie Kingston for the AEW World Championship. One of the most effective AEW World title builds heading into a pay-per-view. Really elevated Eddie Kingston in the eyes of the fans and set him up for a great babyface run over the next couple of years in All Elite Wrestling. From AEW Full Gear 2022, Jack Perry versus Luchasaurus inside of a 15-foot high steel cage. One of the best AEW openers of all time. Jack Perry's real big coming out party as a single star, and Luchasaurus showing that he could do his thing as a single star as well. And those two men, of course, 3 years later, are back together. But let's get into the top 10. I'm going to give you who it is, talk about the matchup. Also, we're going to give you the Wrestling Observer star rating. We're going to give you the rating that it got on Cage Match. And, of course, the most important star rating of them all, SP3 star rating for the matchup. So coming in at number 10, we got Mercedes Moné and Chris Statlander from AEW Full Gear 2024 for the AEW TBS Championship. The Wrestling Observer newsletter rated this match 4.5 stars. Cage Match has it listed at 8.58 out of 10. Me, myself, I rated this match 4.5 stars as well. Two of the best women's wrestlers in the world clash for the very first time in Newark, New Jersey at AEW Full Gear 2024. In the midst of an historic TBS championship reign, Mercedes Moné finally met her soulmate in AEW. Mercedes Moné is someone who has had tremendous chemistry with the likes of Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, and Bayley during their times in WWE. She's had great matches with women all around the world, but Kris Statlander brought out something different in her. The size, the strength, the speed, the precision of Kris Statlander mixed so well with the technical ability and the selling and the body language and the facial expressions that Mercedes Moné offers in the ring. Mercedes, feeling like she couldn't come up with any way to defeat Kris Statlander, elevated her in the process of a defeat for Kris Statlander, but it was something that raised her perception, raised how the fans viewed her, because she took Mercedes to her limit. Mercedes had to pull out a cradle out of nowhere and basically just pull it out by the skin of her teeth to retain the TBS championship. These two ladies arguably nearly stole the show at AEW Full Gear 2024. And I say nearly for a reason, which we might get into a little bit later. But coming in at number 9, we got Christian Cage and Jurassic Express versus Super Click, Adam Cole and the Young Bucks. This is from AEW Full Gear 2021. This is a Falls Count Anywhere matchup. Dave Meltzer and the Wrestling Observer newsletter rated this match 5 stars. Cage match rated this match 7.87 out of 10. Me, myself, I rated this match 4 3/4 stars. From here on out, you're pretty much getting nothing but 4 3/4 stars to 5-star matches. And, you know, Dave Meltzer rated this match 5 star. I nearly did on the rewatch. This match is just total non-stop action. And I'm not talking about that company that was stationed in Nashville for a long time. It's just balls to the wall action. It's PWE style party matchup that the Young Bucks have become famous for, but Adam Cole thrived in when he was coming up in PWG, and you mix it in with Christian Cage's timing and veteran experience, Luchasaurus's ability to be this very versatile big man, and Jack Perry at the peak of his powers as this very youthful underdog babyface that the fans were getting behind, that you could see ever growing and ever evolving before our eyes in this matchup, taking things to the extreme at the behest of Christian Cage, using the concerto to get the victory for his team. This was great storytelling. This was great action, all combined in one of the best matches from one of the best AEW pay-per-views of all time. Christian Cage and Jurassic Express versus Super Click might be one of the more underrated AEW matches of all time. Dave Meltzer rated it 5 stars, but not a lot of fans talk about this matchup enough. It's so good. Go out of your way to rewatch it. But going back to AEW Full Gear 2021, we got Darby Allin versus MJF coming in at number 8 from that 2021 Full Gear. This matchup was rated by Dave Meltzer and the Wrestling Observer newsletter 4.5 stars. Cage match rated this matchup 8.71 out of 10. And me, myself, SP 3-star rating, I gave this match 4 3/4 stars. This, in my opinion, is top 2, top 3 greatest AEW pay-per-view openers of all time. It's a great story and a great build-up going in. I remember how me and Jimmy were so invested in the MJF Darby Allin kind of character juxtaposition, where you have this narcissistic, rich egomaniac going against this selfless loner who's half dead, who's a daredevil, who's a martyr, all at the same time. And then the basis of the story and the basis of this character conflict is the fact that MJF believes he is the better wrestler. He believes that Darby is nothing but a stunt guy. He only puts his body on the line. He doesn't know how to be a technical wrestler like MJF can. And then Darby Allin comes out and pulls off his greatest technical wrestling matchup of all time. The flow and the sequences, the reversals, the exchanging of arm drags and pin reversals and pinning combinations in this matchup is some of the best technical wrestling you will see in an AEW ring from two guys that you wouldn't prototypically expect that from. So this was great storytelling. The payoff to this is MJF, who said at the beginning of this storyline that he can beat Darby Allin with a headlock takeover. He basically goats Darby Allin to try to grab his skateboard and use it against him, trying to use his hatred against Darby against him. He lets the referee take the skateboard, pulls out the Dynamite Diamond Ring, blasts Darby, and then with the referee distracted, puts the ring back in his trunks and puts him down for the headlock takeover. It's such a great ending. It's such great wrestling. Some big bumps. Darby taking the bump, the coffin drop on the apron, a tombstone on the freaking apron. The selling of his back is so well done after the coffin drop on the apron. The story and the flow and the ebbs and flow of the whole matchup kind of change from the moment he misses that coffin drop on the apron. MJF selling his knee at various points after a kind of a bad landing for him, and he's selling it throughout the matchup. The selling, the storytelling, the psychology is off the charts in this matchup. This is another one that I recently went back to watch, and I appreciate it even more than I did before. All AEW Full Gear 2021 might be top to bottom the best pure wrestling card in AEW history, and it all starts with Darby Allin and MJF and the masterpiece they put on in the opener. But going back to AEW Full Gear 2021, we have at number 7 CM Punk versus Eddie Kingston. Wrestling Observer Newsletter rated this matchup 4.5 stars. Cage Match currently has this match listed at 8.49 out of 10. And myself, SP3, rated this matchup 4.75 stars. This might be the best sub 12-minute matchup on an AEW pay-per-view possibly ever. It's just full-on intensity. It's just a full-out brawl. The hatred is palpable. The emotions are high. You got bloodshed. You got middle fingers being thrown. You got fisticuffs. You got a spinning back fist. You got guys spitting at each other, cursing at each other. It's just intensity at 10 from the minute go. Eddie Kingston has this different look on his face. You get CM Punk, who's just so focused in on this grudge that he has with Eddie Kingston. He doesn't even say it's clobbering time. And it's 11 minutes. It's so short. It's so tight. It's so truncated to just be all out violence from the minute go, all out intensity from the minute go. And it all came together off one simple promo. One of the greatest 2-week builds to an AEW pay-per-view matchup ever. And it's capped off by a splendid matchup that might be timeless, because I rewatched this recently as well. I rewatched a lot of these matches from the 2021 Full Gear because I hadn't seen it on TV. I've only been there in person. I was live for this event, one of the best shows I've ever been to live, and just rewatching it, remembering how I felt in being in the building to see these two guys who you never thought would clash go at it, and decades of animosity toward each other, decades of hatred and wanting revenge, wanting to prove Punk wrong. Eddie Kingston, his drive, his determination, getting the fans to rally behind him, and CM Punk being this all-time legend, putting him down with 2 back-to-back go-to-sleeps. It's so different from anything else you will see at a Full Gear event, and definitely worthy of being on this list. Coming in at number 6, we got from AEW Full Gear 2019. Yes, the first ever Full Gear. Number 5 is the actual main. Number 6 is the actual main event from Full Gear 2019. Jon Moxley, Kenny Omega, Lights Out. setting the bar for violence in AEW, unlike any other matchup. You had Jon Moxley and Kenny Omega, who created this visceral rivalry to kick off this. You got to talk about the very first AEW event, Double or Nothing, when Jon Moxley walked into the door and sparked this rivalry that would kind of shape the landscape of All Elite Wrestling. After Moxley debuted, he laid out Omega and kickstarted a rivalry that saw both men attack each other at every turn. Omega and Moxley did battle for the first time ever at Full Gear 2019 in a lights out matchup. No rules, trying to prove which one could take things to the extreme in bringing pain and suffering to their opponent. In what was a violent masterpiece that set the standard for death matches in All Elite Wrestling, the two top stars used barbed wire, tables, brooms, whatever wasn't nailed down to cause indescribable pain to their enemy. After Omega missed a Phoenix Splash on the exposed boards under the mat, Moxley dropped him with a paradigm shift on the exposed boards for the win and set up his path to become the second ever AEW World Champion. Moxley and Omega started what has become one of the most important and influential rivalries in the promotion's history, definitely worthy of being on this list. Another one, and let's talk about number 5, starting off our top 5. We go back to AEW Full Gear 2022. I gave Moxley and Omega 4 3/4 stars. This one is the first that I'm giving 5 stars to. For the AEW World Trios Championships, the Death Triangle, Pac, Rey Fenix, and Penta, the Lucha Bros, going up against the Elite, Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks. Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks, the Elite, were the first ever AEW World Trios champions, winning the gold at AEW All Out 2022. Of course, many fans remember that All Out 2022 was the infamous event where after the show, CM Punk had a verbal tirade that led to the infamous brawl out with the Elite inside of a locker room that caused all the men involved to be suspended from All Elite Wrestling. So as soon as the Elite's reign as first ever Trios champions began, it ended. Then in its place, Death Triangle won the Trios titles, beating Best Friends and Orange Cassidy to become the second ever champions. They defended the gold as much as they can until we started seeing the teasers of the Wayward Sons making their way back to All Elite Wrestling, and it led to Full Gear 2022, the first Full Gear in Newark, New Jersey, in front of a red-hot crowd. For the first time, the Elite came out to Wayward Sons, and they put on one of the most dazzling, spectacular, and sensational trios matches that you will ever see. Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer newsletter rated this matchup 4 3/4 stars. Cage Match rated this matchup 9.09 out of 10. And SP3 rated this match 5 stars. This is just absolutely breathtaking. Just how hard hitting, how physically intense, just spectacular exchanges, whether it's Omega and Pac going at it, whether it's Nick Jackson and Rey Fenix, whether it's Lucha Bros and the Young Bucks. Didn't matter what the matchup it was, whether it was Omega and Penta or Omega and Phoenix, Nick Jackson and Pac, did not matter. Anytime it had these fans on the edge of their seat. They are popping and going crazy for every single move. The Elite and Death Triangle have had this rivalry with one another that really stems from day one of All Elite Wrestling. This is one of those building blocks rivalries. And then they created a new title, the Trios Championships, and these 6 men were able to put those titles on the mat in such a special matchup in front of an all-time gate for AEW, the first 10,000 sold seat event for a Full Gear, coming off the heels of 2021, or their second straight for a Full Gear, and they just delivered the show stealer of them all. Second match on the card, and they already stole the damn show. Somebody called the sheriff because the show was damn stolen by Omega, the Bucks, Pac, and the Lucha Bros. Coming in at number 4, we got FTR defending the AEW World Tag Team Championships and facing for the first time the Young Bucks. This is from AEW Full Gear 2020. Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer newsletter rated this match 5.25 stars. Cage Match rated this match 9.08 out of 10. And me, myself, SP3, rated this match 5 stars. This is magic. When Dax Harwood and Cash Wheeler signed with AEW, everyone was ready for the former Revival to do battle with the Young Bucks. The 2020 AEW Full Gear event was centered on the first ever battle between these two duos, legendary tag teams, going at it in their prime. After years of anticipation, all 4 men would go on to deliver an instant classic under the circumstances that was the pandemic at Daly's Place in Jacksonville, Florida. 2 of the greatest pairings in wrestling history offered a beautiful love letter to tag team wrestling, with tag teams of the past being celebrated with 3Ds, Hardy's references, Doomsday Device, Steiner Brothers references. This was absolutely superb with the timing and pacing, the escalation that brought to this dramatic close to the event of FTR going against their main ritual, their main moniker of fists, no flips. You get Cash Wheeler busting out a springboard 450, and that being the cause of him missing it. And Matt Jackson with no shoe hitting a super kick with his bad leg. The Young Bucks winning the AEW World Tag Team Championships for the very first time. These 2 teams have gone on to have other great matches since then, but nothing quite on the same level as that night in 2020, where the Young Bucks finally claimed the tag team titles in the company they were responsible for creating. Coming in at number 3, Will Ospreay versus Kyle Fletcher from AEW Full Gear 2024. Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer newsletter rated this match 5.25 stars. Cage Match rated this match 9.11 out of 10. And SP3 rated this match 5+ stars. A coming out party unlike anything else we have seen from AEW before was this night for Kyle Fletcher. Following his shocking betrayal of Will Ospreay at Wrestle Dream, came the following month at AEW Full Gear, where he went one-on-one with the man that he used to call his friend and mentor. With the lights on brightest, Fletcher stepped up to a whole nother level. The level that Will Ospreay always talks about, Fletcher was able to meet him there with this fierce viciousness and remorselessness, not looking at Ospreay as his former mentor, looking at him as an obstacle that he had to destroy, not just beat, but physically decimate to make a point to take that next step in his career and become the proto-star that Don Callis convinced him that he was. With a sickening tombstone off the apron onto the steel steps, the proto-star completely changed the trajectory of this entire matchup and convincingly dominated the more experienced Will Ospreay. Going from a tag team specialist to a future's top star before our eyes, Fletcher would basically tear down Ospreay piece by piece. Will would come close, and he would bring the pain to Fletcher as well. The vicious hidden blades completely looked like they were trying to take the head off of Fletcher. All the anguish that Will Ospreay had of this man that he had basically given his home, opened up his home to, and basically given his hand to bring up in the business, had turned his back, stabbed him in the back, and stabbed him in the head with the screwdriver. But all of that didn't matter at Full Gear 2024, as Fletcher put Ospreay away with a super brainbuster on the top turnbuckle, convincingly beating Will Ospreay and taking the next step and announcing his arrival as a future main event star and future world champion. This was a truly phenomenal bout that many fans felt was the very best of 2024. All right, we're in the top two. Coming in at number 2, Kenny Omega versus Hangman Adam Page for the AEW World Championship from AEW Full Gear 2021. Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer newsletter rated this match 5.5 stars. Cage Match rated this 9.27 out of 10 or 9.27 out of 10. And of course, SP3, I rated this match 5+ stars. This is the highest rated matchup in Full Gear history, according to Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer newsletter, and it's for good reason. A 2-year journey for Hangman Adam Page came to an end when everyone's favorite anxious millennial cowboy faced his former friend and tag team partner, Kenny Omega, in the most hotly anticipated AEW main event in company history. With the AEW world title on the line, the two men delivered on the high expectations and gave fans an outstanding 25-minute encounter that had some fast-paced, hard-hitting, and intense action throughout, with brilliant storytelling and high drama that called back to their previous matches, to their tag team partnership, to elite lore, all in one. When Hangman had Omega dead to rights, it was the elite drama that came to the forefront once again, as Kenny's stablemates, the Young Bucks, gave their former friend Page the nod to hit his final 2 buckshot lariats to become the AEW World Champion, to fulfill his destiny and be at the mountaintop of the company for the very first time. Hangman's rise to the top saw loss, saw failure, saw anxiety and despair, as well as sorrow. But he was able to overcome it all. He found new family with the Dark Order, and they stood by his side as he celebrated his greatest triumph yet. In front of an adoring sold-out crowd in Minneapolis, Minnesota, history was made as Hangman's journey to the top was finally fulfilled. Kenny Omega's reign of terror and his belt-collecting ways was all but done and sent him on the shelf for over a year. The whole change to AEW was fulfilled on this night, and Hangman, the man that was destined to be the first ever AEW World Champion, was the 4th ever AEW World Champion, and it meant even more. And finally, coming in at number 1. Was there any question? Mama, there go that man again. Coming in at number 1 is once again Hangman Adam Page, this time going one-on-one with Swerve Strickland in a Texas death match. Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer newsletter rated this match 5 stars. Cage Match rates this as one of the greatest AEW matches of all time, one of the most highly rated AEW matches of all time, at 9.64 out of 10. And SP3 rates this match 5+ stars. The story of Hangman Adam Page and Swerve Strickland started following All Out 2023. And it had simply to do with Swerve Strickland wanting Hangman's spot on the card and feeling that Hangman had become complacent in comparison to his glory and his triumph at Full Gear 2 years prior and being the AEW World Champion. This is a story of envy turned into hatred, professional jealousy transforming into personal animosity, a grudge that turned into a literal blood feud. The feud between Hangman and Swerve had reached a fever pitch. The thoughts of his Swerve breaking into the house of Hangman Page and cutting a promo on his child, putting his family in danger, had pushed Hangman to undescribable brinks. And it led to the most physically intense, violent, and bloody spectacle that AEW has probably ever produced and ever will. Heading into Full Gear, it was a Texas deathmatch stipulation that was given to this rivalry, following Swerve Strickland defeating Hangman Adam Page at AEW Wrestle Dream. Page's history in this matchup was well documented, and it made this highly anticipated. But what fans got was something unimaginable and unmatched in its ability to go there and its ability to make people feel uncomfortable in the level of violence and in what these two men were willing to do to one another, to put an end to one another. Not just beat the other person, but put them down seemingly for good. This was something special and something magical. All the things that we talked about with all the prior matches, the hatred of Eddie Kingston versus CM Punk, the long-term storytelling of Kenny Omega and Hangman Adam Page, the beautiful love letter to the past of pro wrestling like FTR and the Young Bucks. It can all be found in this one matchup. From Hangman drinking Swerve's blood, to Swerve to raking a barbed wire chair over Page's back and choking him out with a steel chain before the life leaves his body, and gaining a win that propelled Swerve to become the first ever African-American AEW World Champion of all time. This was a violent, brutal, and emotional epic that has been regarded as not just one of the greatest matches in AEW history, it's viewed as one of the greatest hardcore style matches of all time in the history of this business. This is something that people will never, ever forget. This put Swerve on the map in a huge way. It solidified Hangman's place as the main character of AEW. And it enriched the storytelling and the ability to leave a memorable rivalry that probably is different from anything else that we have seen in the modern era. This goes to depths and talks about the human emotion and the human psyche unlike anything else. And this violent spectacle is the one matchup that kind of encapsulates everything that goes into what is the issue, what is the underlying thing that makes the hatred between Swerve and Hangman. At Full Gear 2023, on that night in Los Angeles at the LA Forum, Swerve became a made man. Hangman became a legend. And they both gave fans the best AEW Full Gear match of all time. That was our list, folks. Hope you enjoyed it. If you disagree, if you think something else should have been number one on our list, let us know in the comments down below, guys. We want to keep the conversation going. Let us know if we got it wrong. If you think something else should be number one on our list, let us know in the comments down below. And let us know if you enjoy these top 10 lists. Maybe we'll have something for WWE for an upcoming event, or maybe we'll top 10 favorite matches personally of myself, or top 10 favorite wrestlers of myself. If you want more top 10, let us know in the comments down below. drop the thumbs up on this video, and that helps us out so much. And let us know what you want to see from us here at True Heel Heat. And thank you so much for all the support towards our Full Gear week here on the True Heel Heat YouTube channel. Truly one of our most successful weeks when it comes to viewership, when it comes to engagement from all of you guys. So thank you so much, also much for all the support. We hope you enjoyed AEW Full Gear Week and the True Heel Heat's top 10 AEW Full Gear matches. It is me, your True Heel Phenom, SP3. Check out all the great content we got on the channel right now, like the True Heel Heat flagship podcast. If you want to know all about AEW Full Gear 2025, check out our full review that we did on the channel. We got some clips dropping from that review later this week. And join us back here for all the great content as we'll be previewing Survivor Series this week. We got a review for AEW Dynamite and Collision and the latest episode of the flagship podcast. It is me, your True Heel Phenom, SP3. This has been True Heel Heat's top 10 best AEW Full Gear matches of all time. It is me, your True Heel Phenom, SP3, and I am signing off until next time. Later, y'all.